Hi, this is Mindy Silva, and we're going to take a quick look at the WikiTree Sourcer extension today. To start with, you want to go to the Help Apps page, so you can find that either in the upper right menu on your WikiTree profile or other page, or you can just go ahead and type in after wikitree.com, do a /wiki/help:/apps. And that will take you to a list of our helpful apps and extensions. And what is the difference between an app and an extension? Well, an app is a page that you go to get something done. So, for example, if you want to use the Biography Generator app, you would open up that web page and you could put in any WikiTree ID for an existing profile, and it will generate a short biography for you. But every time you want to use this, you need to open up that same page. Well, an extension is a little bit different. It goes ahead and it adds the feature that you want right into your browser. So we're down here under Browser Extensions, and we're going to go to WikiTree Sourcer. This was developed by Rob Pavey. I love Rob's apps. Thank you so much, Rob, for the fun tools that you give us. And then if you go down to how to install, it gives you a link for the Chrome browser, gives you a link for Firefox, and if you're using Safari, it tells you to search for WikiTree Sourcer in the App Store, and that way you can install it for that browser. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and take a profile off of a data doctor list. I like to work on those because you can get more than one thing done at a time. And we're going to take a look at Mr. William McCammon's profile. And as you see, there's nothing on there. Unsourced family tree handed down to Bev Wakefield. Oh, our favorite citation knot. And so what I'm going to do now, up near the top of your browser where you have the browser address, you should have a little 1 with brackets around it. If you don't see the 1, click on the puzzle piece. That will show you your extensions, and go down to where it says WikiTree Sourcer and click on that blue pin, and that will pin that so that you always have that available. And trust me, once you've figured out how to use this, you're going to want that to be there. So what we're going to start with is a look on FamilySearch, a free site. We all get sources from it. But you can see there are other choices here. We can search Ancestry, Find My Past, FamilySearch, Find a Grave, WikiTree, or all search sites. And once again, we're going to go ahead and search FamilySearch. So it opens up a new window, and I'm just going to drag that over here because I like to be able to see what I'm doing. Now, normally you come up with a lot more returns for a source search, but this one only had 1. So we're going to go ahead and look at Mr. William McCammon. Now, he has the little tree on the right. And so I'm going to click that and go to his profile and his family. And here we can see that he has 3 sources. If we scroll down, he also has his parents. His wife is on here, and his children are on here. But what we Clay County, Kentucky, which is where he was located. So this looks like the right source. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on this spot where it says URL, and it gives you the address. And it'll open that in a new window for me. And here you can see there's an image. If there's an image on FamilySearch, it's always great to upload those to the profiles. There's no copyright restrictions for those. But today we're simply going to look at sourcing. Now, you could have just said, okay, I want to copy this citation, and clicked on the citation button. And then come back over to Mr. McCammon's profile. Put the asterisk and paste that source in. That's one way to do it. But we're going to try something a little bit different. First, I'm going to remove this unsourced family tree. And we're going to do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some narrative. So we come back up to the 1 on the record. And, I can either add an inline citation if the narrative was already written in his biography, or I can build narrative with a citation, Or I can just build a source citation, which is the same thing that I just showed you, where you just paste it below in the sources section. That one is really handy for sites like Ancestry that do not give you a source to copy like FamilySearch does. So we're going to click on Build Narrative with Citation. Okay, it automatically copies it to your clipboard. I'm going to come back over here on the left to his biography, and I'm just going to do a Control V and paste that in there, or you can right click and paste. And now it gives us this narrative that William's child, Anna McCannon, married on 21st of March, 1810 in Clay County, Kentucky, United States. So this was his daughter's marriage that was showing the parents. So at any rate, this is not his marriage. This is a marriage that belongs to a child. And so we're going to go back, and then here we see that the name is pretty close. It looks like it was indexed incorrectly, but it's pretty close. And it says in 1810 he was living in Clay County, Kentucky. Now, of course, some census records give you a lot more, but let's just go ahead and see what we can do with this one. So we're going to click on that little one. We're going to come down here and click on Build Narrative with Citation. And now we don't know if this happened before or after the daughter married, so let's just go ahead and put it here before it. And it puts in there that in the 18th census he was in Clay, Kentucky, United States. And you can remove the United States if you want to. I usually leave it in the very first time that it's mentioned, because we are a global site. We do have a lot of people that do not live in the United States, but after that I usually take it out. And so when we click on preview, now we can see that not only has it given us this starter narrative, but it's made an inline citation. So we have a really nice inserted source there. And then we're going to come back over to the right and close that source out. And then we had one more source. We had the 1820 census. And at this point, he's in Jefferson, Indiana. And so we're going to go back up to the one, click on Build Narrative with Citation again. And we're going to put this in the after everything else, because 1820 is the latest entry we now have with him. I'm going to go ahead and take out United States, just because I don't think it's needed at that point. You can come down and click on preview, and now you can see that he has this. It's not a lot, but he has this nice little bit of narrative that was not there before. And so it gives you something nicer to work on. And then we're going to come to the change explanation, which you need to have for everything. And we're going to say bio improvement and adding sources. Those are the two things we did. And now we can do a full save and commit changes. So looking at the saved profile, once again, you can see that he has some really nice narrative written there. You know, just some basic stuff. You can go back in and say, you know, there were also this many females in the household, or this many people under the age of 21. If it does if you use a census that's later that states occupation, it will also tell you that. And so that can be really handy. And then let's just take a look and see if we can find him also on Ancestry. So we click on the one again, search Ancestry. I'm going to move it right on over here so I can compare it directly to this information. And here's the record where we see William B. McCammon married in 1815. So he was not that young when he married her then. They married in Warren, Kentucky, and there's the spouse, Ann Dettleston. So I'm going to open that source up in a new window. And not only do we have this marriage date and this marriage information, but now because that matched, it brought up a whole lot of other census records. Now, not all of these will necessarily belong to him. You would still want to click on them and see, but, you know, instead of going through that whole search thing where there's people's pictures and, you know, all kinds of odd things saved, Here it's census records, marriage records, land records. You can see that there's some really good records to work on. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go back up to that one. And once again, we're going to say build narrative with citation. Go to the left and click on edit for Mr. William McCammon's profile. And now we want to make a space. Let's see, it says 1815, so we're going to make a space right in between 1810 and 1820. And we're simply going to Control V and paste that in there. Now when we go down to preview, you can see it's added William married Ann Duddleston on 17 May 1815 in Warren County, Kentucky, United States. So here you can take the United States out again, or you can leave it. That's up to you. And you know, if you want to change this, you can do that further. If it bothers you to have the date like that, you can change it to he married her on the 17th of May 1815 in Warren, Kentucky, and that's kind of how I prefer it, but once again, that's personal preference. And now here, once again, you know, you have that nice little bit of narrative added, and if you wanted to look into it further, you could add additional items. His age when they married, her age when they married, different things can be added to that. The other thing that you could do from that main ancestry search we were in is you can go to family trees. And I know not all of them are sourced, but sometimes you do luck out. And here's a William B. McCammon who married Ann Duddleston. And it says it has sources on the tree, so we're going to take a look. This actually says he does have an image with it, but we can't use the images from Ancestry. So that doesn't do us a whole lot of good. So let's go ahead and back out of Mr. McCammon. We're going to go back to his profile here. And once again, we want to say we improved the bio and we added sources. Those are the two things we did. Then we want to click on full save, commit changes. And we can see that he has a nice basic biography now. He has some narrative written. His sources all look really nice and neat and the same. Okay, so here again, we're going to go back to a data doctor suggestion list. Citation on there, he has the 1900 census. This other one that just says Ancestry.com, that you actually, and this time we're going to search Ancestry. I move that search over to the right so that I can look at it and look at his profile. You don't have to do this. It's just something I like to do. And then now there actually looks to be a fairly complete family tree. So let's just go ahead and open that up in a new tab and take a look. And they do. They have a lot of sources. You know, you don't want to just add these arbitrarily. Again, on the right, just like we saw before, you know, there's a list of sources that are most likely his. So we're just going to look at this one, and I'm going to click on that little one in the upper right again. And I'm going to say build narrative with citation. Okay, so we know he was born. We know he died at some point in the middle of that. We're going to go ahead and paste in this narrative and citation it gave us. So now it says, let's go ahead and click on preview. Now it says that in the 1870 census, James, age 5, at home, was in precinct 8, Breathitt, Kentucky. Now it puts that at home because that's where occupation would be. So if he was a bricklayer and he was 21, it would say bricklayer. If you want to, when it says at home, you can just take that out. So it still says he was in precinct 8, Breathitt, Kentucky. And let's go back in for a minute. And now that gives us the basic, but I'm going to add to it. So let's double check. Do we have parents? We don't even have the parents added. We don't know for sure that this is the son of Goodson and Ann, but for right now, we're going to say that that is. We're not going to necessarily call them parents until we've proven it, though. So we can just say he was in the home of and spell it how they did for now. And then, of course, once you get the parents added, you can substitute that with links. But he was in the home of Goodson Ingram and Ann Ingram. And then, so let's look, there were 9 children. So there were also 8 other children in the home. So now when we go down and we click on preview, we have that he was born in 1868. We now have his basic information from the 1870 census, and we still have that he passed away. So on the right, I'm going to close that record out, and we're going to look at the next record they have closed. Or I could have picked on one of those, in that right-hand margin. I'm going to open that record in a new tab, and it still says he was born about 1864. And it says he was living in Crockettsville, Breathitt, Kentucky. That he was the son of Goodson and Annie. So now we do know that that was his parents. And his father was born in Kentucky. His mother was born in Virginia. And Jonah was farming. So once again, we're going to come up to the 1. We're going to click on Build Narrative with Citation. We're going to make another space on the left in the biography, and we're going to paste that in. Okay, so now we have that he was in age 16, farming, and was a single son of Goodson Ingram in Crockettsville, Breathitt, Kentucky. I'm going to take the United States out of there. And we have a nice inserted citation. If you wanted to write additional stuff after that, you could. If you wanted to put this, it stated that his father was a native of Kentucky and that his mother was from Virginia. And so that just gives you a little bit of extra information. And let's go down and look at preview again. Now we have a building, a growing narrative, which is really nice. And then let's say we want to go ahead and just add a source at the bottom. We don't really know what we want to do with narrative for it yet. But here it says he was in the U.S. Army Transport Service. And actually it says his son Floyd was. But he was mentioned, so it is a source for him. So let's go ahead and click on the 1. And instead of build narrative, we're just going to build a source citation. So we click on that. It says it saved it to the clipboard. We come over here to the left on the profile. And then we're just going to add space down after the last available source. And we're going to Control V to paste. And that's going to paste that passenger list source in. So people can look at that and take what they need, from that data, but at least it's there for them. And then once again, we're adding sources and doing some bio improvement. Click both of those buttons and do a full save. So now we can see that he has a nice beginning of a narrative, or, maybe that's all the narrative he needs for right now. Other sites, once again, you can search Ancestry, Find My Past, FamilySearch, Find a Grave. And any one of those is going to give you those same choices to where you can add a citation. You could add an inline citation if they already have narrative, but you just want to put the source in there. Or you can just, it will just give you a copyable source to paste down in the sources part of the profile. And once again, our goal is to make these profiles look beautiful. We want to add as many sources as we possibly can to these profiles. And in the meantime, we want to work smart, not hard. So let's use these extensions and, make our jobs just a little bit easier. Have a great day. See you out in the branches.